your ideas for building the new nation. I am Mading Ngor. Joining us today is Governor of Pangak State, James Kok Ruei. He believes in fixing the ruling Sudan People's Liberation Movement as a way of fixing the nation. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So, your idea is fixing the Sudan People's Liberation Movement. It is the ruling party in the Republic of South Sudan. What is the SPLM? For those who feel outraged about such an idea that you fix a nation by fixing one political party.
Thank you very much. Dolku Media. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. One correction. SPLM is a liberation movement before it became a ruling party.
Take us back to the birth of the SPLM. Where was it born? When was it born? And what is the impact of the SPLM?
SPLM was established in 1983. The beginning of the Sudan People Liberation Movement, Sudan People Liberation Army, is started in Boer Town on May 16, 1983. And SPLM come to the birth on the 30th of July, 1983, in a place called Etam in Ethiopia.
So now you have started your revolution. Take us down memory lane. What can you say about
SPLM party? For me,
you said it is not a party, it is a movement. What is that movement?
Movement, it means movement of the people. SPLM is a glue that brings people together. South Sudanese had never had a one popular, robust movement or party seen independent. It is the movement that brought every ethnic group together. And every group in South Sudan see themselves in SPLM. So it's a glue. It happened, it based in South Sudan. But its objective and visions are to liberate the marginalized of all Sudan. However, people of South Sudan, as a special dynamic in their liberation. So SPLM is the movement that brings everybody in all 64 ethnic groups. Each and every ethnic group have a share. They are stakeholders in the SPLM. And it was the only uniting factor to fight the war.
Take us back to the bush. For those who don't know much, what would you say is the impact of the SPLM? Yes, it brought diverse ethnic groups of the nation together to do what? Fight for liberation. What was the SPLM up to?
Number one, for the first time in history, SPLM were able to mobilize regional support and global support. That is SPLM. For people of South Sudan and others to fight the war, it was SPLM who brought the most abundant arms free of charge brought by John Grant to fight the war. SPLM also have taught many of others organization before it, that unity, and you underline, unity is the core value for people to be free. A divided people cannot score victory. The victory that was achieved by SPLM is because SPLM was a glue of all these people. Everybody.
That is interesting point. So tell us about those victories. What are the achievements of your party or your movement, as you insist?
Oh, Mading Ngor, you have now reminded me. You have reminded me of 105, 104. For the first time in history of South Sudan, a plane to be shut down. It was started by the SPLM. And I can tell you who shut down those planes. It's Kok from Jonglei State.
Was that shut down outside of South Sudan?
It was inside South Sudan.
So that's a milestone.
For a sophisticated, modern warfare. We had never happened in Anyanyawan. And it never happened in anywhere. Now, you remind me of the gallant, my battalion, the Jamus battalion. We have never left any corner of Sudan or corner of South Sudan to reach. Jamus battalion. And for the first time in the history of liberation movement, an infantry to capture tanks, it was done by Jamus in a place called Gogjak, Anagdiar, in Upper Nile. Now you are reminding me of Tiger Battalion, who were led, who were commanded by our current president. They were the one who shut down the F-15 in Fashala. And now you are reminding me with Bright Star campaign. You are reminding me.
And Bright Star campaign was when most of the Eastern Bank was captured.
Yes. It started with Nasser. Okay, on the 26th of January, 1989, followed by Torit. On the 26th of February, 1989, followed by those of Ikutos, Kiyala, Numili, Jamesa, Mangala, Bor, Wat, Akoba, Baliet, and the whole of Eastern Bank was liberated. Now, Ler was captured. Rumbek.
Many places were captured.
And many places.
Now take us to the end of the war. How did the war end it?
The war ended. You know, the dynamic of any national liberation movement, there are changes because of the Cold War collapse. There were changes in everything that was operating in the world. So there were a big setback in the SPLM. But SPLM, through its objective, mission and vision, rejuvenated itself after the split in 1991. And it was able to stage its military might again. Ye were captured, Rumbek was captured, Yirul was captured, Gogrial was captured. And that forced the monolithic regime in Khartoum to come to the table.
In other words, you, the SPLM, liberated the country.
You have already said.
That's your claim. That's what
you
you're
remember.
saying.
You remember when Jesus was about to be crucified, he was asked, "Are you the leader of the Jews?" He said, "You have already said." So you have already said, Mading Ngor, it is we who liberated this country because we forced the regime in Khartoum to come to the negotiating table. If there were no pressures or pressure from the SPLM, there wouldn't be CPA.
And CPA was what? Gave you what?
CPA is actually an implementation of the SPLM vision, which were summarized in DOP. You remember? You know the meaning of DOP.
Oh, you clarified.
The Declaration of Principle, where the right of self-determination become of the top agenda. And you know the content of the right of self-determination. It gave also a chance to the unity of Sudan during the interim period. This is what CPA was a program of the SPLM.
Which led to referendum and which
led to referendum, and all these are being led by SPLM.
And to the independence.
And to the independence of the country. And the first constitution was signed by the chairman of SPLM. What would you say? It is the SPLM who liberated the country. So, and that turned us to be the ruling party.
Okay, let's take a break here, and then we will now come back and talk about fixing the SPLM.
Thank you.
Welcome to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Mading Ngor. Do you have a vision for South Sudan? Do you have what it takes to build a just and cohesive South Sudanese society? What is your idea for fixing the nation? Join me for one-on-one interview. Let's debate about who we are and who we shall become. Welcome back to Fixing South Sudan, your ideas for building the new nation. I am Mading Ngor. With us is Governor of Fangak State, James Kok Ruei. His idea for fixing the nation, fixing the ruling party, the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, as a way of fixing the nation. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So, the way you talk about the SPLM, you make it sound synonymous with South Sudan. Is SPLM South Sudan and is South Sudan SPLM?
Yes. SPLM is South Sudan, and South Sudan is SPLM, because SPLM is actually led by South Sudanese, and it's a South Sudanese organization, and it was formed to liberate South Sudan. So SPLM is South Sudan, and South Sudan is SPLM. I do believe, maybe you don't believe, or others, but me, I believe.
Now, in the context of modern day politics, it is not accurate to talk about one party as synonymous with the nation. So now we have accepted to talk about the role of the SPLM as a ruling party. But there are other parties. So in actual fact, are you talking about fixing the political parties, modern day political parties in South Sudan, as a way of fixing the nation? Or do you insist that, no, it is the SPLM that must be fixed, not the other political parties?
You know, SPLM recognize other people rule or other political parties. That is why they were given a portions in the CPA while they were not in negotiation. It's because we do recognize. And we are also a democratic party. We do believe in democracy. So to play democracy, you must also embrace the participation of others. But there is one element here which is very important, and people are forgetting to take note of this, is that if there is problem in SPLM, there will be a problem all over South Sudan.
So you say SPLM the way it functions is essential for the development of the country.
And that is true. Because it has the message of unity, the message of togetherness, and the message of having what you call inclusiveness. Because the inclusiveness is started by the SPLM even in the bush.
Now, if SPLM must be fixed, to fix South Sudan, what is wrong with the SPLM? What is the problem of the SPLM?
Yes, you know, any party or a human being, you cannot be 100% perfect. But your utmost ability for people to recognize you and to know you, that you have a vision, you have a mandate, and you have a mission, is when you realize where you have gone wrong. Okay? Something has gone wrong with the SPLM.
What is that something?
There are internal problems that had occurred, and you know it, Mading.
I don't.
You know it.
I don't.
And it is not the first time for SPLM.
What is it? Just give us specifics.
Okay, the difference is in the leadership. I summarize it: indiscipline in some of the members of the SPLM within the hierarchy of the SPLM. Okay? And that caused problem. And the blame was being increased by those who wish SPLM doom, and those who does not even recognize.
No, let's leave that. Power struggle is part of what is wrong with the SPLM.
Yeah, of course, it's a nature of a human being.
Give us a laundry list of things that are wrong with the SPLM that must be fixed.
One of them is indiscipline, which I also attribute it to some other people who also wanted to replace SPLM. Okay? And for us to fix it.
We are talking about the party now.
Yes, we are now talking about the party, because SPLM, its differences are being magnified by others. But these are administrative differences within SPLM.
So in discipline, what is another impeding factor for the party?
Some of the...
Is it vision that is not there?
No, the vision is there. Some of the problems that also face SPLM, one of them is what I call institutional setup within the government that was led by the SPLM. Two, the issue of professionalities and priority setup of things that need to be done.
Lack of meritocracy, not hiring the right person in the right place, nepotism, corruption. Are they also?
These are words that we found. They were not there in SPLM when we were fighting the war. These are words that we come and got them from you people.
They followed you.
No, we got them from you people. And you made us to believe that they were good for you, because from you or for you. But with us, what we know when we were in the bush, when we were fighting the war, we all know comradeship, fairness, equal treatment. And that is why every citizen see himself in SPLM equally. But when we come and met with this complexity of so many languages and terminologies, SPLM found itself in a fix.
Let's be honest here. We are talking about building a new nation. It
Yes.
requires truth-telling, and the fact of the matter is, and you seem to suggest, you came as the former guerrilla fighters turned into a political party. So you were not prepared to govern. Is that what I am detecting?
I would not say that we were not prepared to govern. But we have run short. We have run short of some of the things that we would have done before we go to governance.
Why?
There were so many competing issues. One of them was to deal with the North. And you would agree with me until today, the divorce is not complete. Makwei had just came back from Addis Ababa talking about border issue. So we, the SPLM, we are still living unfinished job. But here, you are telling us things that who are done by people who have 145, 50 years in governance. So we were having problem in governance. And it is not only SPLM. Many countries have experienced this. So up to today, we have unfinished job. There are outstanding issues on the CPA. And when we were about to attend to them, so many outside forces start to work within weak group within the SPLM. And that is why SPLM got itself into a problem. So I would say there are certain things that we would have done after the independence.
You are off track as a party.
Yes.
And to some extent, you have failed.
No, we have not failed. If we have failed, you would have not been in Juba yourself.
So
we have not failed, but we are being faced by so many factors, forces who are not oriented in the vision and the mission of SPLM.
So you are not able to cope with all these challenges?
We cope with some, and we did not cope with some.
You have good intentions to talk about fixing
the SPLM.
Give it to you. You have good intentions to talk about fixing the SPLM as a way of fixing the nation. So what needs to change now going forward?
Okay. I was to relate to you the factors that made SPLM to get into this problem before you come of fixing. And that is why I was telling you, these are the factors, the forces that face SPLM in the independent time. Now, to fix SPLM, we have already started it. Okay? We have now a new constitution, and it was adopted in the convention, the extraordinary convention. That constitution, some of the issues that were seen to be weakness of the SPLM have already been rectified in that constitution. Those who were accusing us of being manipulating the political system or dictators. Our constitution is now very clear. Everybody is free within the file and rank of the SPLM to do his political or political work free, but not outside the discipline of the SPLM. So the constitution is one of the things that we have done to fix the SPLM. Two, you remember the recent appointment of the 28 interim chairperson is another step to fix SPLM. For instance, I'm the interim chairperson of Angag State. What is that I'm going to do? We are going to revitalize, rejuvenate the SPLM structures so that we correct mistakes that has been going. In some of the mistakes that we have realized, we are now going to fix them.
I understand that, but must some things change,
And now,
some structures, so that you are able to do what you are saying?
Within that one, this is another move reconciling the file rank of the SPLM. This is what I mean, or rejuvenating the SPLM. Because when we reconcile in the leadership of the SPLM, that will be the reconciliation of the South. Do you know, SPLM is run by members who come from different ethnic groups. Let's
wind up this way. Fixing the SPLM, and you have talked about some changes that are pertinent for the
making the reform within SPLM.
Within the SPLM.
Yes.
Now, how does SPLM now fix the nation?
Okay. If you agree with me,
I'm agreeing with you.
If you agree with me that we are the liberation movement or
turned into a political party.
No, liberation movement turned into a ruling party. If we are the ruling party, it will be the policies, program, and intention of the SPLM to be implemented in the government. It is the SPLM program that will be implemented in the government. It is the SPLM vision that will be implemented in the government.
Is that coming a little too late?
It is not too late because the president of this country is the chairman of the SPLM.
He has been chairman, and there was a vision that was not being implemented. So, again, how are you going to fix this nation through the ruling party?
We will fix this nation by reconciling the file and rank of the SPLM, the structures of the SPLM, as we did during the liberation. There has been several differences within the SPLM. We reconcile, we unite, and we move forward.
There's war raging in this country. There is millions of people displaced. There are so many problems. They must be enormous for one party.
The SPLM have brought the peace agreement, which is in your hand, and is being implemented. We have ended the war. We are now going
the major war
to call for a national dialogue, which will be headed by the SPLM, and we will be reconciling the community that we led, the community that we liberate, the community that we give freedom. It is only SPLM that have a message of unity. If you go to all these briefcase parties, they are all ethnic-based parties. It is only SPLM that have a national base.
SPLM is going to fix South Sudan?
Yes. We are fixing it.
Slowly.
Not slowly. We are fixing it. We have fixed South Sudan by liberating it.
Thanks for coming to the show.